In this video, we're going to be taking all of these scrappy bits of batting that I have. They are mix and match. They've got different weights, different levels of cotton in them. So I don't really know what they are. These were all in a little baggie that I've been collecting, and I need to do something with it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn them into a large piece of Frankenbatting, which is pieced together batting. Here, I've got a little bit here that I was already working on. So we're going to stitch it all together, make a big piece, and then we're going to use this to do some quilt as you go projects. So we're going to definitely make the most of what we have. So we're going to use some scrap batting. I'm even going to use up the old thread and things that I've had. That's in here is decades old. Some of this I inherited, some of it I was gifted, some of it was like a cheap little set. So it is time for me to use it up, wear it out, make it do or do without, and this is going to be an ultimate scrap project. We are going to piece this together in a very scrappy way to make a bigger piece of batting. So here's a bit that this is a scrap left over from a Frankenbatting scrap, and all it is a zigzag stitch that we're using to piece these things together. Now, if I was going to be using this in a project that was probably going to get a lot of washing, like a quilt, for example, I would want to be using cotton thread. I would want to be using the same type of batting. So if it's all 100% cotton, I would want it all to be 100% cotton. That way it would hopefully shrink and change size in the wash at the same rate. Because what I'm going to be using this all for is not going to be getting a whole heap of washing, hopefully, it's not going to matter too much.
The first step is to piece things together. I'm using lots of small pieces here that need to get joined on the short side. So I'm just really looking to see how I can overlap these so that the joins are not right on top of each other, creating a weak spot. So kind of think like bricks, like when you look at bricks and how those are put together. That's kind of what I'm looking for here. And the nice thing about the Frankenbatting or piecing batting together is it's very forgiving. It's such a good project for a beginner to do. So if you've got some batting and you really want to make as many projects out of it as you can, then definitely save your scraps. So here you can see I'm overlapping the pieces together a little bit and then running it through the sewing machine. I'm just chain piecing these like I would any pieces of a quilt or patchwork that I'm working on. You can see a little bit better here, overlapping one side a little bit, not by a huge amount, just enough to get a little bit of strength there, and then running it through the machine with a zigzag stitch. So nice and easy. I don't have a walking foot or anything on here. It's just the regular zigzag foot that I have on my machine. And I'm just doing one piece after another. And then once they get bigger, I will turn those around and piece those together. So you can see here's the pieces that have been joined. And now I'm going to piece them together in the opposite way. So same thing, I'm kind of lining them up, putting them through the sewing machine and then working them through the machine. I am cutting off some of those pieces on the back end that have been chained together, just because as the pieces get bigger and heavier, they're going to start to pull things through the machine in a wonky fashion, and that can end up creating batting that does not lie flat because it's been pulled and stretched. It isn't so much of a problem if you're using it in a smaller project, but if you're needing like quite a big piece of batting for a project, then you're going to want to be mindful that you're not stretching that batting and stretching the fabric out too much and creating like pucks and things that will occur into that fabric. But you can see there's not too much thought going into this. It's just lining the pieces up that are somewhat similar in size. I'm not even trimming them at this point, so they're straight edges. I'm just overlapping them a little bit and then pushing them through the machine. Easy peasy. So here you can see a little bit more. I'm going to zoom in a bit, and there's a thread that you can actually see here as we're just running through the zigzag stitch. Again, this now you can make this easier when you're piecing things together by straightening the edges, and it does help as your pieces are getting bigger. You can also see in this as I'm cutting where you've got fabric that's not laying flat, there is some puckering, and you can see how the bigger the piece, this starts to become a little bit of an issue. So again, be mindful that you're not overly stretching things. But again, you're just piecing bits together and then running them through the sewing machine, so very forgiving.
See a little bit on the back that there is some overlap with the batting, and for most of the projects where I'm reusing batting like this, I'm not super fussed that there's this overlapping piece here. Sure, I could go over it with another zigzag stitch to really kind of hold these bits down, but I'm not going to, because most of the time when I'm doing projects like this is going to be the top that I'm going to be quilting on top of, and this bit's going to be on the back of something, and it's going to be something like a pot holder or a placemat or a table runner. It's not going to be something that somebody's going to be trying to snuggle with, hopefully. So that's how I have been making all of this batting and piecing it together to be able to take little offcuts, and rather than them just going in the trash or in the compost or into the scrap pile that then gets used to stuff dog beds, like, it's just a way to be able to kind of stretch what you've already purchased and make it go a little bit further. So I call it Frankenbatting, you might call it utility batting, you know, whatever you want to call it. I think this is a great way to use up your stash, make your dollars go a little bit further, and help you keep quilting and keeping things out of the landfill.